What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another week of Tower Talk Show. Oh, it's not reset day. I almost said happy reset. That was yesterday. Happy freaking Beyond Light, though. We're a day late, but we're not tired.
Intentionally.
And,
intentionally.
We wanted to have enough time to at least say that we played some new content, because let's face it, there is so much to do, PvE-wise, just to unlock all the crap to go play PvP, that I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. Is it too early to call it? Is it too early to say that it's busted? No, it's not too early. If you haven't played yet, it's out of this world broken. There's gonna be some spoilers in this one, ladies and gents. So if you don't know anything about the story, about stasis, about new guns, if you don't want to hear about any of that stuff, this is your fair warning. But if not, stick around, because it's gonna be fantastic.
We'll try and address storyline a little later in the show, and we'll give fair warning when we start getting into storyline spoiler territory, but definitely everything's new at this point. So
all of it. It's so new. It's so new that I feel like every time I jump into the Crucible, there's something that I haven't seen yet. I get frozen in a new way that I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could get frozen that way. That was fun. But yeah, all the things are happening. So anyways, we have Taka with us. We have former Guardian as per usual, and not so gamer.
What up?
How was your guys' week, other than getting frozen and getting stasis in the face?
Been good.
Yeah, everything's been good.
Lots to do.
I mean, there was vaults to be cleared out, which has been refilled at this point. I was down into the 300s. I am almost max vault space again.
I got down to 400 at like 440.
Yeah, I got down to
the campaign.
Yeah, I got down to like 460, and then now I'm back to like 500.
Well, I don't know if you guys did the same thing, but when it started, I chucked a bunch of the stuff I typically carry on my character just into the vault, and so it jumped up like 20, 30 items just by doing that, and I was like, well, cool. So
yeah,
it's like, all right, wonderful. Now, all of these cool new weapons that I'm picking up, I just don't have space for them.
Yeah, I usually keep a lot of like the weapons and stuff that I tend to use like on my characters. So like even if I want to make space on my hunter, I just throw them on like my warlock or my titan, because I hate when like my dire promise or whatever gets lost in the mix of all that crap in my vault.
Dude, my warlock and my titan, they're my mules that carry everything, so they're usually packed already.
Exactly. Full of hunter gear.
That's what my titan's meant for. He's additional vault space. My titan is a she.
Additional vault space. There was a game that I used to play a long time ago. Me and my dad. This was like late 90s, early 2000s. It was called Asheron's Call, and it was an online RPG, kind of like, just no guns, but it was like you could pick. You just had your person, and then you like didn't pick like a class or anything like that. You just had your shield or your hammers or your bow or whatever, and like the more you used it, you just got more and more proficient. But the more stuff you had in your bags, the slower you would run. And so you legit would have a character that like you just put all of your excess inventory on that character. And then it sucked if you had to like go run to a different city to find one of your other characters and like drop stuff on the ground to pick up, because you'd like run super slow and like a wolf would come and just eat your legs off. And
dude, I remember doing that in RuneScape. Having to like go find some secluded area and throw stuff on the ground and then come back and pick it up. Like, hope nobody stole this.
You see random people just in a corner. You're like, what if they're dropping stuff? I better go stand on top of them.
Yeah. Oh.
So you dropped it here. You knew the risk.
It's a good thing Destiny has trade, though, so you don't have to do stuff like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm being sarcastic. Destiny should not have trade. Don't.
I just remember that was such an awful mechanic, though. Like, I run super slow because my bag is full. Lame.
Yeah, now as a Titan, you just run slow anyways.
Oh, yeah. I guess we should get that out of the way. That Titan exotic that we complained about for like 3 episodes, worthless.
It's balanced. Bungie balanced a Titan exotic. Isn't it great?
Sucks. Have you read it, Gamer? The in-game description?
Yeah, Former told me about it yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, you move slow.
You move
Yeah,
slow.
you move slow, and like it doesn't recharge until after it's done, right?
While you have the shield, the
Yeah.
barricade doesn't recharge.
Until after.
It's
yeah.
the greatest thing ever.
So, but even though I did tell you the helmet was probably going to be the better one out of the two, I called that one.
The
So
Hunter
you can
one?
go back. No.
You
The
get credit for
Titan.
that.
The Titan one. I said I felt like the helmet was going to be stronger than the gauntlets because like you can res and then you can get your orbs on your buddy like on trials and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
I did say that I felt like the helmet was going to be stronger. So
Yeah,
I'll take
and
credit
it
for that one.
100% is, and we'll see how
Probably
that
will
plays
be.
out in
Yeah.
trials. But
Well,
nobody
and it's
has
the
any of them yet.
ugliest. No,
Gamer said he ran into somebody that had the Bakras helmet.
Yeah, someone on one of the groups that I'm on has it already.
Apparently, at least the way it's listed in light.gg, it's like quest related or something. It's not just in the general loot pool for exotics, is the word that's going around.
Huh.
I don't know.
I thought it might.
Maybe
I
I'll
thought it
ask
would
that.
be because I guess I can't talk about that because that's kind of spoiler story. But
Yeah, shh.
So I do have a question though. I remember like pretty much any DLC since Destiny 2. You play through the quest and then at some point there's a part of the quest where it's like, here's exotics. Pick a gun. Or
Well,
like
I'm pretty sure at the end of Shadowkeep, didn't we get Assassin's Cowl? Like at the end of Shadowkeep? Like you finished it.
There was
Then
the
they
quest.
like, right?
Or-
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. It was one of the rewards for like at the end of the quest or something.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like I finished the storyline on my one character, on my hunter, which, by the way, if you tend to just stick to one character and you thought you were just gonna play hunter this season, you're not alone if you decide to just go over to warlock. I think I will be switching because pretty lackluster. But when I finished the one character, I realized there's like more stuff to go and do. It's not like you're just done. Then you have to go and like actually unlock other abilities and stuff. So there might be at some point, like as the weeks go on, they might add in quests or whatever, kind of how they've done in the past couple seasons. So I don't know.
So sorry, just back to the Mask of Bakras for a second. I don't know how accurate this is, but according to Destiny Game Wiki, the acquisition for Mask of Bakras is through Legendary or Master Lost Sectors.
Ooh.
Oh, is it those lost sectors
Solo,
that
by
where you
soloing
solo
them.
on them?
Yeah. That's what it says on here. Don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but it is a 2080 activity. So
1280?
12, whatever.
1280.
1280.
Yeah, 1280.
1280. I feel
That's
like
the
I'm gonna.
number.
See,
before I
but
go,
That's high.
like
And you have to solo it too. Has to be solo.
With no mountaintop?
and Recluse?
I can buy that now, true story.
well, you can use
I
Out
am
of
so mad at that, dude. Like, I don't even
Why?
want to talk about it.
What, that you can
Like,
buy
it was
mountaintop?
it was nice. I could like look in there and just see all those pinnacles checked off. But the fact that people like get in there and then they can just buy mountaintop,
Dude, out of
buy
principle,
Luna's house,
I will
buy
not buy it.
Forgotten. I was like, you serious? I was so mad that I went and like dismantled Not Forgotten in Luna's house from my vault.
Yeah, I can't believe you did that. Those are treasures, bro. Treasures that I can now buy for a few legendary shards, a
It was
couple
nice.
enhancement cores.
It was nice
And
being
some
like
clever.
saying, "Oh, I got this."
Anybody notice Spider's new setup? I know it was in a TWAB, but you can buy enhancement prisms for 400 legendary shards.
How many?
400.
No. But how many prisms?
Pretty sure you just get one.
What?
I didn't blow 400 shards to find out, but seeing as how I can buy them from Banshee for way less, I'm just not going to go to the black market on those.
Yeah, that seems too crazy. How about the enhancement course?
They're 30 flat rate. They don't change.
For 5, right?
No.
Or for
No.
1?
No, that's
For
what
one.
that's. It's 30 for one, and you can buy 5.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so you waste 5. What's 5 times 30? What?
160?
160? Yeah.
Yeah,
stupid.
100.
That is stupid. So you.
So it's-
that
it's-
just seems. That
It's
seems
only
dumb.
cheaper if you're buying in bulk. is how it mathed out. But the way it was before, I would buy 2 a day, and it would cost me 30, and I'd get 2. And now I buy 1 for 30, and I'm like, well.
But then again, like, are we really like out of resources? I feel like what Bungie like did a really good job like towards the end of like the last season to give you those nightfalls to do and those like triple valor. Like during that week of triple valor, I think I hit legend like 10 times. And anyways, I'm sitting at 460 enhancement cores, so I think I'm fine for a while.
I'm over 200, and I don't need much more than that. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I haven't been materials broke for a long time. I don't care about infusing stuff, especially later on in the season. That's because it's gonna level up super quick anyways. But
yeah.
So should we jump into the stasis since we got a lot to cover?
We do. We should. Oh man.
I can confirm. Legend Lost Sector is how you obtain Mask of Bakris. It's on the EDZ, not Europa.
And it's 12.
Or Cosmodrome, sorry. Cosmodrome, not EDZ. Cosmodrome.
Bakris specifically, or is it a different Lost Sector per exotic?
So when you look at the Legend or the Master Lost Sectors, it'll say at the bottom of the rewards, if you do it solo, it'll say like exotic chest piece, exotic helmet, etc., etc. I don't know how those rotate or exactly how those work, but the image that I'm saying, there was one in the Cosmodrome Legend Lost Sector, so it was 1250 light, and it gave you exotic head armor as a rare drop.
Well,
so
the good news is the nerf
it's not
on
even a
falling
guarantee.
guillotine is hardly noticeable at best.
Still feels pretty good, yeah.
It feels great. I actually threw up a little clip on Twitter because I was like, did this thing get nerfed? And the giant mecha thing that looks like it's from Scourge of the Past in like one of the missions, that was like a big one, I deleted him without taking any damage, and in all of like 8 seconds, and was just kind of like, okay.
If it weren't for
good thing they tuned this down.
If it weren't for Falling Guillotine, I would not have beaten that first boss. That first one was by far the hardest out of any of them, and it would not have happened without freaking Falling Guillotine.
Dude, the second one was stupid, dude.
The second one where you had to shoot the things from the ceiling?
Yeah,
that was easy.
He was dumb, but the first one, the platform disappeared the first time, and I was like, the frick, and I'm like hopping through the Vex Milk to the next one. The second one though, dude, I was completely lost. I was in the middle of Vex Milk Ocean, just going, where am I supposed to go? And I died because I didn't know where I was supposed to go. It was the dumbest. I started like just beelining it straight, and it started telling me I was leaving the map and started counting down from 4. I was like, what do you want from me? And then I died and had to restart. I was so pissed because I was soloing the whole campaign.
Help me feel a little bit better about myself. Let's talk about the second one, because you said the second one was the hardest.
I had aimbot.
More or less than 10 times, let's say.
No.
Less.
No.
Less?
Than 10? Yeah.
Yeah, I've never died more than 10.
It was
none
like
of these
4 or 5.
I died more than 10.
It was annoying, but I started.
Yes, go finish.
On that one, I figured out because I was using Falling Guillotine on that one too. I found out at the start, you run up, you slap him 5 times, do your heavy, and then run away, and he's damage phase. You pop the 2 things, and then you wait on one of the sides, and he'll teleport right in front of you. Same thing. As soon as he teleports, slap him, hit your heavy attack, and then dodge, run away, shoot the things. And at that point, it was pretty easy because then you get unlimited stasis, and you're just like super spam.
See, because I was using Falling Guillotine with him too, until I picked up a stupid blue grenade launcher that was higher light than what I had, and that made a world of difference. Just freaking hucking grenades at him anytime he popped around a corner. Did you use grenade launchers, gamer?
I was using just anything that was higher. I didn't really upgrade. The only thing I was upgrading as I was going were my Stompies and Outbreak Perfected on my Hunter, and then like I think I used Falling Guillotine at the like. I used the first time I used Falling Guillotine was the strike, and when you get to that boss, you're like like a sword isn't what you need to bring to this effing strike. But yeah, I was using like grenade launchers and rocket launchers up until then.
So on the first one, I think I died 30 times.
Oof.
that first boss with the stupid platforms. And not even because I didn't die once because the platforms disappeared. The majority of the times dying was because I had like a sidearm and a pulse rifle and like so I don't even remember what
TTS.
it was a heavy.
Let's be honest. You were using bottom tree Arc Strider when you should have been on top tree Void.
Yeah, I was doing that too. Because I did have Trinity Rule on at one point, and I was just maxing out like the arc kills, and then I switched to top tree Night Stalker, and that I think I won that time. I think that was it.
You're welcome.
The time that I beat it. Yeah, it was insane. Anyways, I don't know what sidetracked us. We have all of the crap to talk about right now in PvP. I guess we should probably just kick this one off by saying Destiny is a game about shooting guns and using space magic, but at this point, the guns are completely optional. Like, you don't need guns anymore. The stasis abilities alone are insane. I don't think I've seen more 40 bombs and 50 bombs in the same lobby than I have since stasis.
Wait. Were they using Wither Horde?
No, I actually don't think I saw Wither. Disclaimer.
It was
I
service
I was
announcement.
telling you.
Oh, this is an announcement.
Yeah.
They did just disable Wither Horde.
I know.
Like an hour ago.
Yeah, like an hour ago. Yeah. I used it and I was proud.
Yeah, I mean, like it's insane. I think I'm pretty sure I took a picture of it. There was in one of the lobbies that I played, each team had 3 people that had 40 plus kills. There was one dude with like a 50 something, and I'm like, this is insane. We're just freezing people and then punching them. Like it's not even. Anyways, I guess we can kick the discussion off with just playing as a stasis subclass. I think we all picked Hunter first. So why don't we kind of just throw out there what we've liked and what we've not liked so far about playing as playing the Revenant, which is the sickest name out of all the stasis subclasses.
I like it.
Like a lot? Like a
I'm
little bit?
50-50.
I like it a lot. I don't know if it's going to be my go-to PvE, but it's definitely going to be my main for PvE from now on as a hunter.
PvP, you mean?
PvP.
Because you said PvE 2 times, and that was
Yeah. So which one? Now I'm confused.
I'm probably not going to main it in PvE. It is my go-to PvP subclass as a hunter.
Okay.
What has you on the fence, gamer?
It's cool. I like it. Like the stasis. Okay, stasis in general, I think is tight. Stasis all overall, like I love seeing everybody, freezing and stuff. That's cool. I'm not dissing the stasis. Just as hunter wise, I feel, I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe because I haven't played like 6 hours of Crucible, like I just did like 4 or 5. It just
After 5 hours, what would 1 more hour change?
1 hour would make it more on stasis. It's
One
just
more hour and it would have sucked.
1 more hour. I don't know. I mean, it's just like the shurikens, like totally are not my thing. I thought they were going to be a little better. They weren't as exciting as I thought they were. But maybe, I don't know, maybe until I start getting the other stuff unlocked, maybe things would get a little better. But so far as just the basic stuff, I'm not 100% of a fan just yet.
So real quick, does anybody know, has Bungie said anything as far as because the shuriken comes with 2 charges. It's innate, written into the description. You get 2 charges, but for some reason, when you start a Crucible match, you only start with 1. Are we aware if that's a bug or not? Because it sure feels like you should start with both.
I noticed that. I think I was too distracted by the fact that I was so upset that Ophidius Faith doesn't give you extra charges on top of that.
It specifically says throwing knife in the description of Ophidius Faith.
So why would
Is
that
a
shuriken?
a throwing knife?
No, it's a throwing star.
It's a star.
Okay, well, I was holding out hope. I really wanted it to happen.
It's a shuriken, bro. Have you
I wanted
not seen
4 of those
Naruto?
things.
I have not seen Bungie say anything relating to that so far.
Probably comment it to DMG. He's been putting out tweets asking for feedback. I'm sure somebody has probably brought it up to him by now, but hopefully that is a bug and gets addressed. Because the concept of the shuriken is you hit them once to slow somebody, you hit them a second time and it freezes them. And I know amongst ourselves and with our friends, we've already talked about how it seems a little lackluster, and Gamer just mentioned it. For those who haven't played much with it, damage-wise, it does 61 to a Guardian. May or may not be rounded up in some way, which for a melee attack is a little more than half the damage every other melee outside of Smoke Grenade does in the game. And so the damage-wise can feel rough. That being said, I personally like it because you can actually, when you have the 2 charges, which again, hopefully that's a bug and you can start out with 2. When you have the 2 charges, you can throw 1 star immediately after the other, and the initial throw casts very quickly. It's almost on par with like a Celestial Fire. It leaves your hand instantaneously when you hit the melee button. And so you can actually throw 2 stars in quick succession at somebody and instantly freeze them if you want to blow your 2 charges on it. And I think that's kind of cool. I know the Warlock melee just insta-freezes, but they only have the 1 charge. And so if you want to use it in that same fashion and just chuck both of them right after one another, you have the option to freeze somebody, or you can use it for a chunk of damage to clean somebody up. The tracking on it is very forgiving. Not only when it bounces off walls, but if you throw it slightly off direction, we'll say, at a Guardian, it'll kind of rotate itself and connect, which just feels good that it's consistent in its hit. And so I think if you look at like buffing the damage on that, now it becomes broken, because you can almost one-shot if you add any more damage to it if you're going to throw 2 right after another, especially because it freezes them on top of it. You start getting into broken territory, which, so not to say that there's other things that aren't broken, but
I haven't played with it yet. On the Warlock subclass, I've seen a bunch of video. Glad's been tweeting out about it all day long. In a world where the freaking Warlock melee is literally just a freezing version of Celestial Fire, how are the shurikens anywhere near acceptable? Like, I think they're
because what would you do to them?
Up the damage for sure.
But to what?
Why don't the shurikens just freeze if the Warlock melee just freezes?
That's See, that's been my thing, because like out of all 3, I feel the Hunter is the weakest melee out of the 3.
Okay.
Just
so
because
I will say this though too, I feel like across the board, Stasis is out of freaking control. Like, not even really in a good way. Like, I think it's fine to break the game here and there for PvP. Yep. Because if you guys are like, I don't know how you guys felt about Forsaken, but when Forsaken came out, and we were getting changes to subclasses and stuff, that's when like Nova Warp became a thing. Spectral Blades, it was like, oh my goodness, these subclasses are so busted, it's so much fun. But it's like, they weren't really busted, but they were a ton of fun. They were better than what we had. This is just a new level of insane. I don't want the shurikens to just freeze on impact. I like the way that it's set up, because the idea behind it is if the enemy is slowed, then 1 more shuriken will freeze them.
You can also couple it with your grenade that slows.
Yes. Yeah.
You can chuck a star on a grenade, wombo combo, still have another star on hand for later, and you can freeze multiple people because it will ricochet off of one person when it hits them towards their teammate. So you can also hit multiple people, which is why I say I honestly feel like it's pretty balanced. Yeah, if it's a 1v1 and you throw a star and it only does 61 damage, might feel lackluster as far as damage goes, but you start increasing that damage, especially because you have 2 charges. You can 2-shot somebody, freeze them, and if they break out, they're going to die because of the damage they take from breaking out. So
let's call it that, Former, because I agree with you 100%. I think out of anything Stasis related, the Hunter melee is the most balanced ability.
I would say so.
But comparatively, because it feels like crap. It feels like, why am I using this?
In true Hunter fashion, the way that Hunter is meant to be, it gives you utility. You can chuck both stars one after another, which travel fairly quickly and activate very fast if you want to outright freeze somebody. Or you can shoot them a couple times or once, depending on what type of weapon you're using, and clean them up with a star. I've only played a couple Crucible games, but I had one where a guy was kind of down a hallway, and he was sniping, and I chucked a star at him, and I was off, and I missed him, but it hit the wall behind him, ricocheted right back, and nailed him. and put him down to a sliver because he had taken a shot
The
from someone
bounces
else.
are crazy.
Made him super easy cleanup for my teammate. And so they're very consistent. And that's something that doesn't always come with abilities. And I think with that consistency has to come a level of balance. This is what we've talked about on every episode, that you can't have something very strong and also very easy to use. These throwing stars are very easy to use. And I think the damage at 61 helps keep them in that balanced realm. And if you chuck one after another, you're breaking their shield and you're freezing them. That's easy cleanup for any weapon you're using.
Or just somebody else launches some other busted ability and all you had in there was a knife, you're at least getting the assist.
Yeah. Grenades, on the other hand, I think are all busted. You're throwing up walls. Little one tracks on the ground and insta freezes them. The dome, as far as I've seen, explodes on impact. It's not like a Halo frag grenade, or what's the solar grenade? Incendiary grenade, thank you. You don't have to bank shot it. You chuck it. It creates this fat size of a Titan bubble dome that nobody can move out of. Or if they do, they're just not looking back to shoot at you, because if they do, they're going to get frozen and die. It's like, the grenade seems super powerful.
I like the how many times
one.
have you...
Yeah, because it freezes.
Just
outright freezes.
How many times have you come around a corner, though? Like, you're looking at your radar, and you're like, okay, got some pings. I'm going to move out. I'm, like, scoped in with my sniper, my hand cannon, whatever. And you move around the corner, and it's just, like, there's just all this ice crap all over the place. And it's, like, all the lines of sight are messed up, and I can't see anything now. It's freaking ridiculous. It's out of control. I do kind of love the chaos, but I just wish that as far as the power went, I wish things were more in line with that Hunter melee.
My biggest problem with stasis is like you just have this feeling of like if you get frozen, you're just like, well, I'm dead.
100%.
Like I feel like, in my opinion, it takes too long to break out of. I think
you shouldn't take damage.
It shouldn't take like 3 seconds to break out of it. And even when you break out of it, you take a fat ton of damage when you break out of it.
Yep.
And I don't think it'll kill you. I think it always will just take you down to like a sliver at most. But it just feels like if you get frozen, you're just like, well, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Like there's no mashing the thing to break out faster. It's just like
unless there's just nobody else around.
A couple seconds. Yeah.
Like
unless
you just
like
got frozen and then.
It's like I've had it a couple times. Like I throw a nade and then like they kill me as they get frozen, and it's like, okay, sure, now they get to live. But like, you know, if that didn't happen, they would just be dead. And they would just be sitting there watching it happen. Like there's no counterplay at that point.
Yeah, and I don't even know what a good solution to that is, because
that's what I was just gonna throw out there.
It's a freezing ability.
Some ideas.
So if they take away taking the damage, then there's, you know, honestly, me personally, I think take away the fact that you take damage breaking out and then leave the timer the same. Because if you go the opposite way, you still take damage but you break out instantly, then what's the point of the freeze? It just
I don't think it should be an instant breakout. A breakout, but like 3 seconds. It's a long time to be just sitting there without being able to move.
Yeah.
People teabagging you before they like kill you.
Seriously.
like it's ridiculous.
It's a long time.
I mean, if there's ways to work around your build, I guess I could see that's kind of cool. Like if there's mods, or I don't know. I don't know if I want to run like high resilience and see if there's a difference between that breaking the ice versus have low resilience. Because I mean, resilience at one point has to like matter. You know, now with stasis out, like if you're getting frozen constantly, like I wonder, like if you're having more, if you have it maxed out, like does it break quicker? Maybe it's like less, like a second less, you know. But like no matter what, like yeah, it's busted. Even when you fight those people and like in the campaign, like you're frozen, dude. You're screwed, dude. Like whether it's PvP or PvE, just stasis in general, like being frozen, just like. It's madness, you know what I mean? I'm digging it. We're having fun. Like it's awesome. Like, you know, let's have this moment of chaos until they start balancing everything. But you know, at the meantime, like it's just crazy to see you're in Crucible and it's just like trying to get sniper kills for the Adored. It was, oh my gosh, it was like the
we'll talk about snipers.
Craziest thing.
I got some things to say about snipers.
In all honesty, I thought this would cause a lot of chaos. But what scares me is I thought the chaos would come from these combinations with aspects and fragments and putting together this sick build. Nobody even has them yet, dude.
Nobody has builds.
It's just the grenades,
do.
melees, and the supers that are busted.
I've got fragments in.
Do we
You got the
even
first
need
aspect,
exotics to play along
So yeah,
with,
you
like-
can. There's one aspect that's available, right? For hunters, it's the slam one. You jump in the air, you hold circle, or you press your whatever key on the keyboard,
Sprint.
and you shoot down at the ground and you explode everything around you in stasis.
Is that a super?
So no, it's just, and there's no cooldown on it either. I mean, it's like a
it's
1
an-
second cooldown.
It's like the Warlock bottom tree Dawnblade where you can fall out of the air, but you damage everything.
Yeah, it does like 50 damage, I think, just standard if you just hit somebody with it. And if
But if
they're
frozen, they
it's
shatter,
an instant
right?
kill. Yeah. So you can like throw a grenade, freeze somebody, and run up and just slam the ground, and they insta die. Like there's some pretty cool things that you can do with that. I think that's the only aspect that you can get so far for hunters. The other classes obviously have their own
I haven't seen
aspects.
that yet.
Now people are going to complain even more about stompies because you're going to be able to close the gap on slamming on somebody quicker, and they're going to be like, stupid stompies.
There's a
The frag-
warlock aspect. That lets you, when you get a frozen kill, like a shatter kill or whatever it is, then from where that person died, it'll send out like that one grenade that seeks people. So when you get a frozen kill, it'll seek the next person and then instantly freeze them.
That's
Yeah, it's OP. I've had my whole team
that's,
die by
that's the hunter or the yeah, it's insanely, but it's so broken. But I want to throw this
One
out
that
there
tracks
just
to the
because-
other one and it just keeps going. Like
Keeps
yeah.
going.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
And it's like, if we just step back and we're not like, I don't know, if we just act like we don't care about the game, then it's like, yeah, this is a freaking blast. Look at all the different ways we can freeze people and kill them and like have a ton of fun. But like longevity, like I could see a lot of people being turned off by it. And I don't know, just given Bungie's track record of just how quickly they roll things out, like, I mean, we literally just started playing with this like yesterday, today. It's been 2 days. There's no way they're already thinking about balancing this. Like I can't imagine there's any type of balance coming soon.
Well, I'll also say, like, I do think stasis is really strong and it's pretty crazy right now, especially because everybody's using it, feels like. Almost everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It's the new thing. You're seeing tons of it. I was in comp. I played a few hours of comp today. Still lots of top tree Dawnblades. Still doing top tree Dawnblade shenanigans. You know, like, I don't necessarily think they're more broken than some of the other classes and subclasses in the game. But
I think the maps, the games that I felt like, okay, I can do this. I can hang with stasis. Like, this is fun. Like, this is actually fun. Not like it's frustrating. I'm getting frozen. I'm just getting killed. There's no counterplay. I think there needs to be counterplay. There definitely needs to be tweaks. But the maps that I've had the most fun playing with it and against it have been the bigger maps because there's just room to breathe. And I think in a 3v3 scenario where there's room to spread out and move away from each other, I can see there just being some inherent balance there.
Yeah,
You
100%.
can't just, there's a room full of people, I'm going to throw a grenade, I don't really know what it does, but people die somehow and they get frozen and I win.
And also in the number one 6v6 game mode you're playing is control, yes or no? Especially because of the changes they've made to the options
Everybody's
you have to
grouped
play. Yeah, people are capturing a point. You know exactly where they are. You chuck the grenade that travels along the ground and freezes people, or you throw the dome that slows them. They're all sitting ducks now. And so the abilities also lend themselves to just having more people on the map and forcing them to go to specific locations to where you can target them with your abilities. So, yeah. And
I will say 3v3s felt more balanced with stasis than 6v6 did.
Yeah.
So I played a ton of control. I've played a pretty good amount of comp. And I felt way more useful in control with stasis. I've only played stasis since Beyond Light. So it's yesterday.
Since yesterday.
But yeah, it definitely does lend itself to, like Former was saying, more people on the map, people clumped up together. And in 3v3s, you don't get that quite as much. So
See, and that's why I say I'm really excited about the hunter subclass specifically because there's gonna be some things on the other ones like the warlock melee, if I'm not mistaken, will outright freeze a roaming super by hitting
Yes.
it. Is that verified?
Confirmed
Because
video evidence.
I saw one clip and I'm pretty sure he had already been hit by a shuriken and was slowed. But if I'm not mistaken, because the description just says freeze, I'm pretty sure you can outright stop a super in their tracks.
I don't think
I-
stasis abilities
I've been
care if you're in your
frozen.
super.
I've been frozen by that with my Hunter Spectral Blade and my Titan, the top tree Titan, whatever.
Okay.
the freeze, you don't have to, when you're in your super, you don't have to break out of the stasis. It only lasts a second. Like, it's way faster, and you just automatically are out. There's no animation or anything. It's just like the freeze ends, and you
Just
keep going
pauses
around
you for a
rampaging.
second.
And you keep going with your super.
Yeah.
And you still have your super and everything. And so
It does deal damage though, just like when you break out, does it not?
I
A little
don't
bit.
know.
From
a
the
little
clip
bit,
I saw,
yeah.
it looks like they took damage getting frozen. They insta broke out, but it did another piece. And between the two, it basically broke their shields or got them close to it. So they were easy to clean up with a shotgun, even in their super.
Yeah, I had a clutch play earlier in comp where it was 2v1. They had the last guy. He had a super. Neither of us did. Time was out. The point was up. And he popped his super, was coming straight at us. I hit him with 2 throwing knives, or shurikens, froze him, and I just sniped him in the head in the split second that he couldn't move, right?
Yeah.
Free shot. So it doesn't last very long, but it does make...
It pauses them.
If you can freeze them while they're in their super, which can be can be hard to do still, especially with like the shuriken. You got to hit them with 2 of them.
I just think with how powerful the freeze is, how long it lasts, how much damage it does, it should probably just either be harder to freeze people, or being frozen shouldn't be such a big of a penalty. Like, I think it'd be interesting to see if maybe if you're frozen, maybe what that means is you're just rooted in place, but you could still shoot, and you have to hit this button to like work yourself out, so you're immobile. And if you're roaming super, then that does you no good. Like, you can't move, and so you can't keep swiping or, whatever it is, using your tickle fingers, whatever the case is. But
I just think getting frozen just feels unfun. Because you're just sitting there. You can't do anything for 3 seconds, and you're most likely going to die. Like, just that idea and that aspect. Like, it's fun to do to other people, for sure. But, like, when you just get frozen, you're sitting there, like...
So crazy.
It's not even necessarily that it's overly busted or crazy. It just... Those situations just feel unfun.
So if you root me in place, but I can still at least turn and snipe you, and then worry about getting myself out of the ice,
So here's a question for you guys. If they were to balance it, how would you guys feel if the effect of being frozen lasted 3 seconds maximum? If you didn't do anything, lasted 3 seconds, at which point you broke out and did not take damage, or you could choose to break out almost instantly, but still take the damage you do now. Would that be something that...
I think it'd at least be better than it is now.
Because as it is right now, you hit the button to break out, it takes about 3 seconds, and you take a chunk of damage.
And it's so easy to freeze people.
Like 3 seconds in Destiny is a long time to just be stagnant. And so if that was just, you got frozen, you can't move for a full 3 seconds, but after that time it shatters and you can run away, but it doesn't deal you extra damage.
I would almost prefer if it was like you were stuck, but like you could still aim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
maybe slowly. Maybe if it like cut your aim speed like by 50%, so like you could still
like
pan
tether?
and stuff just slowly. Yeah, but then you couldn't move. Like you were still stuck in place.
That's what tether essentially does to you.
You could still kind of aim and shoot, but that's about it. Like you can't use your abilities. You can't. Like if they just added that in too, I think it'd be way more balanced.
They'd have to buff tether.
I think it would be just. I think this would be over the top. I would be obsessed with it if you just get rooted in place, but you could still, maybe aim slower. But let's just say your feet are what's frozen to the ground. You could still throw grenades. You could still throw smokes. You could still do whatever, and have a comeback.
See,
because if it's a 1v3 and you get frozen, it's game over. There's no point. Yeah. That's it. There's no comeback from it.
See, I can get behind that for the sheer reason, like Taka was saying, that getting frozen doesn't feel fun, and adding some kind of an aspect where you're stuck in place, but you can still shoot. adds the element to where occasionally you get frozen and you pull off a snipe on somebody and win the round while you're frozen. It's that holy crap moment, and all of a sudden the excitement's still there, and so you don't feel completely helpless. Whereas right
it's
now
an underdog moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. It's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
It's not going to happen. I think this is going to be stasis for.
Stasis is only going to get better too as more weeks go by, more fragments and more aspects get unlocked that we can do quests, whatever, and get.
Because you get 2 aspects, and some people have 1 right now.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Gamer?
So, I haven't done comp yet. I was going to, but then I was like, you know what, let's go on my Titan just so I can level up because I am getting raid ready. So I've been doing just leveling. That's just my thing right now. Just getting as high as I can. I don't really care about mods or anything right now. I'm just trying to like get high gear just because I'm getting raid prepped. Yep. But my thing is this. Stasis is pretty cracked, and I can tell obviously, but we're not like trying to call a nerf or balance anything because like obviously it's new, right? I'm just going off the fact that like PvP wise, like Taka just said, like for threes, like you're still seeing the top tree Dawn Blade, you're still seeing the most effective things to play your PvP, right? So obviously this weekend in trials, we're probably going to see that still, right? We're probably going to see Spectral Blades, we're probably going to see top tree, right? We're going to see the Titan Arc Strike, the arc. So here's my thing. I don't think Stasis is gonna come and get nerfed or balanced or touched for a while. Obviously, because right now, like, what is it right now that will get you motivated to play comp? There's nothing. There's no there's no pinnacle. But besides that, because that's the reason why I was gonna jump into comp is for leveling.
Yeah, there's no chase.
But once you reach that, there's no Not Forgotten. There's no Luna House. There's no Redrick's Broadsword. There's no anything like that motivated me in the past to do comp. So like with that being said, like I think this season, like I'm probably gonna be doing way less PvP and more PvE than I've done any other season before. And that's crazy to say because like I'm a hard all I do is comp. Like that's probably the thing I've done the most out of everything. You know what I mean? So like I think I'm gonna be doing, especially like getting ready for a raid, like doing all that stuff. Like Stasis feels like so much fun in PvE right now because you're freezing it. Like right now, I was doing the quest with my Titan. Like it was so much fun having Dune Marchers freeze everything, punch everything, and everything just dies. You know what I mean? Dude, without getting like hurt. When obviously when you're doing the campaign, if you're on top tree, the Void Stalker for hunters,
wow,
you can still go invis
for all of a day and you forget what the hunter subclasses are.
when you're in that Night Stalker, you can still dodge when you're in the campaign and still go invis. Literally, when I soloed those bosses, like I would just go invis super, and again it was just so much fun because like you just freeze everything, you're unstoppable, you feel invisible. You know what I mean? So like where I'm getting at is that at the end of the day, like I always feel like Destiny feels like it caters always more towards PvE, and once you start getting into PvP and start saying things like it needs to be balanced in PvP, because then once you nerf or bust something for PvP's purpose, it almost makes it irrelevant for PvE. Does that make sense? Like, for example, when they nerf Spectral Blade, like, no one uses Spectral Blade for PvE. Because, like, that super just now sucks. People used it a lot in PvE because, like, it would just wipe out a whole... It would just clear ads. But now you can't because the nerf they did to it on PvP. Like, I always feel like there always needs to be a straight line versus, okay, when you jump into PvP, these effects will happen to your super, to your abilities. But when you go to PvE... you're a guardian, you do whatever the hell you want to do, you know what I mean? But like that's just my take on it, like I love Destiny's amazing. I'm always going to come back and play. The guns feel great, the abilities feel great, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I just feel like right now, like comp or just PvP in general, like doesn't really feel anything, and then bringing added weapons, like could save Trials. But like right now, Trials is still sitting at a pretty bad spot until we'll see what the adapt weapons will be. And if it's just gonna be another the rich get richer type of method, then it's gonna die quick. And
That's
then
100% what
PvP
it's
in
gonna be.
general is gonna just be going down and down and down and down.
So I think if I were in your position, I started playing this game because of the PvP, and it's the reason why I keep coming back to it. If I felt the way you felt right now, me personally, I think I would be looking for a different game. Like, if all I had to look forward to in Destiny was the PvE, like we play it, we jump in and do raids, like we'll go hunt for stuff, like we'll hang out, we'll get full sets of armor because we want to transmog it or whatever it is. But like,
Yeah.
I play this game because of the PvP. And I do think that some of these stasis is obnoxious enough, I think, to turn people off to it. Because I think there's a lot of people who feel like you do that don't have other friends to play with, that can't just go do PvE now. Like, I'm just going to be a PvE guy. And it's just like, well, I guess.
Or people who didn't buy Beyond Light and they hopped into the Crucible, and it was a
Yeah.
shit show.
Dude, after this game.
The frick is all this ice all over the place.
Dude,
No,
could you
fair.
imagine?
I get you 100%. That's what I said. Like I still love the game. Like I still love PvP. Like it was just frustrating. And Taka knows because I was like, he was on the Discord listening to me complain. I'm like, dude, I can't do anything. I'm trying to snipe and there's a freaking wall popped in. Like as I'm trying to snipe
Kind
this
of
dude.
funny. Like the massive blocks of ice all over the place. I actually think it's kind of hilarious.
Right. You know, like I got the
I've just
adored.
never seen anything like that in Destiny. Like the whole map is different because like that whole section has these giant blocks of ice now. Like it's
Yeah.
that part's
Yeah.
fun to see. I think it's cool.
You know, and I did eventually finally did get the adored after a couple of days of trying and complaining.
Yesterday and
But
today.
yeah, you know, so like I did get it. It's a really
long
fun
grind.
sniper. I do enjoy it. I got to play more with it, but so far I like it. I don't love it, but I do like it. And
So let's jump into snipers. I know Former you're gonna say something. After the changes they made, are snipers completely unusable, steaming pile of garbage? Get rid of them, or are they actually requiring you to be a little bit more precise? And Former, I cut you off. You were gonna say something, so we'll start with you. Or did I derail what you were thinking?
I think we need to move on to snipers. I was just going to say, to Gamer's credit, part of what he's saying is that Crucible isn't any. There's nothing new left in Crucible. If you can choose to get adored in Crucible, that's one thing. Outside of that, there's nothing new to chase. The Trials is exactly the same, armor and weapons. You can get adept weapons now, yes, but it alternates every other weekend, and it is 100% going to be a rich get richer thing because it's not just get an adept. You still need to get the right rolls on your adept weapon as far as the masterwork and the perks so that you can completely min-max your stats on that weapon. And so the people who have the fire team to go in and just do it one week, one time after another, the weekend that adept weapon they want is out there, are the ones who are going to get the best of the best roll on that, and they're going to clean house in Crucible. That being said, there's nothing new there, and there's nothing to chase in the survival playlist, and all the other ones, obviously, there's never been anything to chase. And so for a PvP player, we're going to play it because we enjoy the game mode, but you're not going to get anything from it. You're not going to get any weapons, you're not going to get any armor, you're not going to get anything usable item-wise in the game, and that is a bit of a letdown. And I understand this is a big expansion. There was a lot of work required by their entire team to put stasis as a whole together, added as a new element. There's weapons now that have stasis. Like, there's all kinds of changes that came along with that, not to mention the storyline, new spaces, Europa, the raid that hasn't yet come out. Like, not saying that, not trying to be the stuck-up kid saying we wanted more. It is a bit of a letdown for a PvP player to not have anything to chase in the realm of PvP. That being said, I do think we need to move on to snipers, but just
PvP weapon refresh probably would have been enough for me.
Yeah, just something.
Something that'll keep me coming back. You know what I mean?
I will say, when you get to unlocking fragments on stasis, it's a similar thing to the Adored, where you pick which quests you want to do to get your currency to buy fragments. You pick Strikes, Crucible, or Gambit as well.
So it gives you a reason to go in there if you'd rather play PvP, but you're not getting any PvP rewards, right? Like,
want to get frozen in PvP by like apes.
I mean, I always go back
Unlimited
to
strikes.
I always go back to in Destiny 1, there were certain weapons that you only got from playing Crucible, like Ias Luna, like what's the Hopscotch Pilgrim, right? These certain weapons that were also sought after because they were good in PvP, but they were also just the only place you could get them. And that's just not something that it currently exists in the game. Anything that drops in PvP as far as just a drop, you can get from turning in tokens or just world drops. And so even something like that. But honestly, if they just said, here's a new set of armor that you only can get to drop after certain tiers that you graduate from in the survival playlist, right? Go to the comp playlist. And I can't think of the names off the top of my head as far as the tiers go, but you hit rank whatever, the legs drop. You hit next rank, this drops. You hit 2100, whatever that was.
I think the thing is, like, Bungie has heard that, like, we want to do our activities and earn that loot or currency or whatever you want to call it in that activity and let it be good for that specific activity, right? I think they've heard us saying that, like, you know, because it made it pointless at times, because to get a really good shotgun, you had to do this strike a bunch of times, and hopefully you get the drop, and hopefully you get the perks you want, right? With Mindbenders, right? You had to go in and do a strike and get a really good gun, but it's going to be God tier in PvP. To get this amazing hand cannon, you got to go get these synthesizers, deposit on this stupid thing, go with a fire team of 4, and then kill this Taken boss, and then you get a freaking amazing hand cannon. You know what I mean? That's God tier and PvP. You know, so, like, obviously they want to keep you doing your activities where you want to do them at, but, like, don't not give us weapons. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they've listened to us where they, like, want to keep us where we want to feel comfortable, but, like, don't just put us there, but then there's nothing to grind for. And I just feel like that's kind of like what's happening now, where like, yeah, I picked my Adore through Crucible because I enjoy Crucible more. But man, it was a shit show. Like, I mean, like, it was crazy, especially with the whole stasis crap going on. You know what I mean? But, like, other than that, like, give me a hand cannon that's, like, gonna be amazing for my Crucible experience. You know, give me a sniper where it's gonna make me better at in PvP when I'm playing PvP. You know, don't make me grind out Mountaintop and Recluse and let it be God tier in all the raids. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna do raids, like, please let my guns be good at raids. You know, and don't get me wrong, like, not 100% exclusively. Obviously, give me some drops that would help me out everywhere where I want to play. But at the same time, if I'm going to be playing this strictly and, like, religiously, like, let me get those loot that way where I can play it that way that I want, and it's going to make me better in that sense.
Honestly, even if it was just cosmetics, I think you just need something to chase after.
Absolutely.
Ornaments for both weapons and armor to chase after getting
anything.
A certain tier would have been perfect to just throw a bone to the PvP community, in my opinion. But
I do, since everything about Stasis is sus, I don't think I noticed any sus players in any of my lobbies. Any snipes that were like, that was an impossible snipe.
I had one guy.
Have you played comp yet?
Yeah, I've played a bit of stuff, so it's still there. It's still there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm interested to see as the next couple of days play out, and as we get into Friday too, like the actual situation
Trials.
with cheaters and stuff. Yeah, because I think if the cheaters has been sufficiently dealt with, and we get into a good I love competitive 3v3 elimination. That's where I'm excited to see Stasis, and, like, the new abilities and no cheaters. For me, that's enough of a reason to get excited for trials and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, nothing new to chase, but, like, no cheaters would have been just enough of a prize for me this season. Like,
Absolutely.
nothing new, but there's no cheaters. I would have taken it.
But Stasis is so sus, you can't even tell anymore.
I know that was kind of a left turn.
It like covers the cheaters.
That's what I mean. Like, there's so much going on. I can't tell. Like,
it's a shit show. Just call it as it is. Like, it's a shit show right now, dude. It's crazy, dude.
6v6 is a nightmare. It feels like whatever the heck playlist mayhem. That's what it feels like. Just normal 6v6 Crucible just feels like mayhem. But
yeah, it does. It is mayhem.
Snipers,
my
though.
take on snipers, I think it. I was playing. I just can't make the Icolo sniper work for me, but I threw on a really good role supremacy. I don't like 140 snipers. They've been my least favorite forever. Um, but I will say, once I kind of got into a groove, the game, like for sure, is not just giving you shots anymore. It's not just like, you were like aiming at his shoulder. That's close enough to his head. I think the reduction in the aim assist, I do think, just makes you have to hit your shot that much cleaner. At first, it did not feel good, feeling like I should have been given shots that like I probably would have been hitting in the past. But just after a couple of games getting used to it and like having to take my time and be precise, I've shot people through flinch. I've gotten flinched off of shots. My take is that I don't have the Adored yet. I'm working on it. I'm halfway done with that quest. But I think I'm going to like it. I think it has two very, very good perks for a sniper. One which we've never seen, that killing wind perk. But I actually think snipers are in a place where if you get shot with it, it's like more times than not, it's like, okay, they hit their shot. It's not just like they were aiming at my chest, then they got flinched up, or like the bullet got pulled towards my head or whatever the case was. But I know, Gamer, you've been playing with snipers because you unlocked the sniper rifle. Taka, have you had much chance to click on people's heads yet with snipers, or what have you been playing with?
Yeah, I've been using snipers quite a bit, trying to get the Adored, and I personally feel like I notice a difference.
Do you notice a difference, or you don't?
I do. I don't know if it's just because I'm playing sweaty people in comp. Honestly, I know they didn't mention it or even say anything. I feel like flinch is worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even just on snipers, just across the board. And maybe it's because I've been running double freaking unflinching rifle for the past 4 months.
And now, yeah,
Like without never taking it off from the last artifact, and you don't have that anymore. I notice a difference on snipers, especially, even on other guns. I feel like when I'm getting hit with like a hand cannon, like it feels more jarring, and maybe it's just me. It's just what I'm seeing or feeling, and it's not actually anything that's changed. Only time will tell. But like I've had a harder time sniping than usual, and I'm even using a 50 zoom scope that supposedly wasn't changed by their adjustments to the accuracy codes. So I don't know.
Yeah, it did take a couple games to like get into a groove, but there wasn't any point today where you felt like you just had your shot warmed up a little bit more and it felt better.
Marginally, maybe. Yeah, it could just be because I'm off. It could be because I'm using, kind of an unfamiliar subclass too, and it's just kind of throwing me for a loop. I'm kind of playing with different exotics and different things as just a whole. My whole gameplay's off, maybe. But it feels to me.
I know we're friends and all, and you want your friends to have fun playing a video game, but you are a very vocal proponent of snipers needing some type of an adjustment. Hearing somebody who's objectively very good at sniping like Taka say that not having the easiest of goes, what are your thoughts on just his take? Basically, you definitely do not love snipers. I know you don't play with them very often.
I do, just not on my hunter.
Playing against them is always difficult, I felt like.
For me particularly, because I main a bow, and combating a sniper with a bow shows the glaring flaws of a bow to begin with, and exacerbates the strengths of a sniper incredibly, because you cannot one shot when they can, and especially if they have like a 72 RPM, their body shot is the same as your precision hit on them. And so you're just at a disadvantage in most cases if you're challenging a sniper with a bow. And so I just typically try not to be honest. But my thing outside of that is, even when I'm not using that, unless I have a sniper, I've just never felt like there was any way to contend with a sniper. And so I would hope that the changes give some kind of opportunity. Again, I was always an advocate for I'd rather give the person being sniped at some kind of mechanic they can utilize to try and combat the sniper rather than just nerfing the sniper itself. So, if there has been some kind of change behind the scenes to flinch, maybe that's it. I don't necessarily think flinch is the best way to go about it, but I haven't spent enough time in PvP to feel like, to really get a feel on how that change may be for somebody on the receiving end of having to combat a sniper. But I would hope that the function of a sniper is you have to be precise and you're rewarded with a one-shot kill. So,
there were a lot of unspoken changes. There's tons in the game that's different right now that they never touch. The entire game looks different. I think it looks incredible. It looks very good.
I'm convinced it's the black backdrop. The dark toned backdrop makes the colors in the game, like on your character, on your ghost, on your sparrow ship, all that sort of stuff,
but even just
resonate.
in maps and stuff like that, maps that we always play on, things seem to stand out a little bit more. I think it's I don't know what it is visually.
Well, you even look like a lot of these guns and stuff have had bugs. They've already disabled Wither Horde. They've disabled roads.
Those tend to be because of visual issues and things, right?
Yeah.
It's not just whether it's bugs or they've changed things that they didn't tell us about. They obviously, I don't think they changed anything with Wither Horde. So why is it acting all funny? Well, something has happened behind the scenes that's caused it to act weird.
It's probably related to Telesto.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Cousin, distant relative.
So it's hard to say.
I have a visitor.
He's
I'll be back.
Cute. For our audio listeners, Beard's daughter just came in and pulled him out of the room, so he gets to go be a dad. But yeah, I'm interested to continue to play against snipers and mess around with them. I do tend to use a sniper almost exclusively as my special weapon when I play a warlock, so I'd be interested to hop in and play with them. I will say I don't have Adored yet. Seeing the perks though, I do like the choice they made, because your first column, it's Killing Wind and Triple Tap, if I'm not mistaken. Your second column is either Snapshot or Vorpal Weapon. And I think that's awesome because, one, for the most part, PvP players are going to go with Snapshot because you can zoom in quicker, allows you to acquire your target faster, take the shot, and that can give you the edge in a gunfight. That being said, I like the fact that they're basically giving you the option that you can play with a 90 RPM sniper that will still one-shot a super if you decide to go Vorpal, and I think that's a really cool decision. Oftentimes people aren't going to use it, but you might even have the point in an elimination game, you get to round 3 or 4 when you know supers are coming out, you might want to toggle off of that snapshot just to have the opportunity to shut down a super. I think that is a cool aspect to throw on that ritual weapon to give it the chance to be better than any other 90 RPM, in the fact that most people go to a 72 RPM for the opportunity to one-shot a super. You can have a 90 RPM that can two-shot to the body faster than any other sniper, but also still shut down a super if you decide to rock Vorpal Weapon and maybe just go with precision, targeting or sniper targeting to help with your ADS speed or something like that. So I thought it was a cool option as far as perks go, because we've seen Vorpal on 140 RPMs, I believe, which cannot one-shot to the face on a super. So they're almost worthless.
And it's nice that they're giving you the option that, hey, you can take the sniper into PvP, and it's got some decent perks for PvP. Or you can switch to Triple Tap and Vorpal, which are probably the best combo as a DPS boss sniper.
Yeah.
On a sniper, so that you can take it to any type of game, whatever you want to play, and you have perks that will work on it.
Yeah.
Ritual weapon, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and Killing Wind, same thing, gives you that increased handling, increased reload speed, longer range for better target acquisition, and just having a bit better aim assist essentially is what that translates to in Destiny. It rewards you for getting kills, and you have that option between, do I want to be able to shut down a super, do I just want the snappiness? And Snapshot coupled with Killing Wind, I imagine, makes that weapon pretty snappy as a whole. So
I'm coming into this one late. I had to help with a potty break, but Killing Wind is one of my favorite perks in the game. I am so excited to use it on a sniper. I think it's gonna be bueno. I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
That was exactly what we were talking about.
Oh, was it? Okay, cool. Yeah. Don't want to ruin anything that we were in the middle of. I know. But if yeah, I don't know if we should just wrap up with what we thought about the storyline. Just
We
take
want
a
to talk
minute
about mods real quick.
or two.
I know we're
Yeah, mods.
we're
See, that was
getting
one of the
into it.
changes that it was like, wait, hold on. Because they told us they were changing mods, but I logged in, it's like half the mods are just gone.
So yeah, real quick, they've made a lot of changes to. Obviously, we knew they were getting rid of enhanced mods and just going with standard mods, but they have a larger impact. We knew that was coming, but they've also
Now there's like
moved-
minor mods and stuff.
There's minor for all of your stats. So the standard ones before just gave you plus 10. You now have the option to do a plus 5 for less energy, which allows you to really min and max in some of your stats where you may have only had a couple energy points to spend. Lots of changes. Certain mods have been moved as far as location, whether they were on legs and now they're on arms and so forth. I think quick snapshot, I'm curious to hear from each of you what things about the changes to mods do you like, and then which ones you maybe not as much a fan of. So I can kick it off
Who
and I
wants to
can
go
say
first?
straight up, things that I do like, they, as far as we can tell, completely gotten rid of pump action, remote connection. I forget what the
That
grenade
was my
launcher one
thing.
is.
I was like,
Okay, I have a comment on this actually.
Please comment, because
Okay, so
you have to re-unlock them.
I went and looked at the patch notes again, and I don't know if this was added in later, or if I just missed it. They do have a section on mods on there, and they said the mods that grant super energy on weapon kills have had their perks moved onto specific weapons and have been deprecated.
That's
And
the
so
thrash
so
perk.
that's that one perk then.
The thrash perk.
Thrash. So thrash is the pump action.
That's
or the-
beautiful. That
Wow.
is beautiful.
Hey, and we talked about that too. I said, well, that's cool. Like, you lose a perk, but you get the benefit of pump
And that
action
goes
or
on the
motivation
weapon,
or
right?
whatever.
And
The weapon rolls with it.
yes, so you have to get the roll on the weapon, but it rolls on both primary weapons and special weapons.
Yes, it can roll on
There's
primaries.
Pulse rifles and other weapons out there that have it. There's also, I think, a shotgun and a fusion rifle specifically that I've seen that can roll with it.
How
So
did we miss that?
That's amazing.
How did we never talk about that? That's out of this world.
It's so amazing. I was actually concerned when I saw that perk because I was like, great, now you can get a shotgun with this thrash perk that gives you additional super energy. You can couple it with pump action and then throw dynamo that got moved onto your head, and now you're just a freaking beast running around getting super all the time. But the fact that they got rid of those for me is a big deal because that just incentivized even more the use of special weapons and really felt like it penalized you for wanting to use a double primary setup. And I like that that is now not an option, and it entices people to try and use different loadouts and look to gain super energy a different way than just doming people in the face from the back of the map.
So one of the sniper, I think it rolls on this sniper. It's called Stars and Shadow, which is a high impact. So think Cold Denial. I'm fairly certain it rolls on that.
The purple, no time to
The
explain.
purple one.
Yes, it does.
It rolls with some other cool perks. There's like some wicked cool perks that like I don't see a ton of people talking about. Maybe just because nobody really has guns with the perks. There's the surplus one, which gives you like weapon handling, reload speed, stuff like that, like per your ability that you have charged that you haven't used.
Yeah.
But then there's the other one, which is like spring something, like wellspring or something like that, to where it's the inverse. Like you get kills and then it recharges your abilities. It's like a baby.
It's like a
Traveler's
demolition for all of your abilities.
Yeah,
Demolitionist.
so there's some wicked cool perks that like I'm super excited about. But yeah, the mods thing, that one actually really threw me off. You said what do we like though? I definitely like just having a high stat, like an arc helmet that I can throw my my targeting, whatever the sniper one's called. Like it's 5 or whatever, or 3, I think.
5 for sniper.
It's the sniper one's 5. Yeah, so I just like cool. The armor that I have on, the stat rolls work. This is a good stat distribution. I can just switch from a shotgun to a sniper now, and it's just a matter of changing mods. I love being able to go from sniper scavenger to shotgun scavenger on the same pair of boots. I think I just need more time to sit and play with it. I think it's the new mod system though is very nice.
Yep. I like the minor abilities in the first slot that you can do a +5. That's pretty cool to me, because there's sometimes you're putting a combination together, whether it's on the helmet with targeting mods or whatever, where you only have 1 or 2 energy left, and now you can do, I think it's resilience, mobility, strength, and discipline all cost 1, and then intellect and recovery, the minors cost 2. And so if you have a couple extra energy or just 1, you can still make use of that and add a +5 to where maybe on 2 pieces of armor you can do that. Or if your stat distribution because of your armor is between 5 and 9, you can throw it on and bump yourself up a level in a certain category. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's not like I have to use all of the energy to go 10 up, and now I'm 109.
Yeah.
So that is a good. You go up a tier and not have to spend all the energy on it. Yeah, I think mods are good. I think the longer the season goes, I think more people realize that it's a good spot for them to be in. But yeah. The Stranger.
Is there anything you guys don't like about the mod changes? Or is it just me?
Yeah. Rest in peace, controller players, the nerf to traction. Traction no longer costs any armor energy, but it still takes up a mod slot, and it no longer gives you any bonuses to mobility, according to the patch.
So what does it do?
Rip. Tighter turn radius.
Sure. It's pretty much that thing that if you play on controller, you have to have it on. But like before, it was like at least you're getting some extra mobility. It gave you +5 on your stat plus an extra hidden 10, and now supposedly it gives you none. Just the faster turn radius, which only matters on controller.
Was this in the TWAP and I just missed it?
It is on the patch notes.
Oh, on the patch notes.
On the patch notes.
Probably would have been good to read those.
Feels bad. I also don't like that they moved dexterity from the legs to the arms. I didn't understand the change.
It makes more sense. But then, reloader and dexterity is all in the same spot.
Well, now the only thing that is left on the legs is scavenger perks. And you can argue the ones where you pick up orbs. But
have you looked at, the class items, too? I feel like since they took off remote connection and those super generating ones, they moved the ones where, if you pick up an orb of power, it gives you super energy or ability energy, whatever. They moved those off up to the legs. I feel like now on your class item, you don't have very many options of mods.
I didn't like how they
they moved Dynamo off too. They moved Dynamo to your helmet.
Dynamo, ashes to assets, and hands-on.
I think your class item almost feels worthless now.
There's way less options.
Class item.
That's you know what that is? It's just the new house for powerful friends is all it is.
That's literally what I have on my hunter.
That's a good point.
But you have to run arc.
Powerful friends in there.
It's powerful friends, distribution, and then a minor recovery or something.
That's exactly what I have on my core.
Of course it is. That's the play now. Because it's
I wonder if they're trying to make this push. I feel like in a lot of slots there's just less options that I want to put on. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
For me,
but maybe they're making.
It feels like there's a couple where now it's a toss-up. On the helmet, I'd like to have Dynamo, but I have to give up a precision or a targeting.
I'm more inclined to go look at Charge with Light stuff now, like class mods,
right?
Yeah, because I can put those on anything. I'm a little bit more inclined to look into doing builds that involve those more. But
wow,
I don't know.
I just found the bullet point with traction. That's coming off.
Yeah,
feels bad.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So far, I love the changes to the mod. I feel like they're great because kind of like what Beer was saying. I love being able to stick with my high stat stuff and just use that and just play with that the whole time, not having to feel like I need to change loadouts. I do love that. But what I love the most of mods is the ghost. Dude,
Yeah.
maxing out the ghost. Like I think I masterworked like 4 or 5 ghosts just so I can have
One of the
different
first things
things.
you did.
Yeah, I as soon as I got the 12% experience guiding light, I did that. I mean, that's my go-to right now for PvE stuff. Then I made a Crucible one. I made one
Dude,
when I'm just
you
Yeah.
have a chance to get prisms playing Crucible when you get that mod.
no, hold on, but that's even better. It's when you get a precision hit, not when you play a game. You read it. It says when you get a
Really?
precision hit in Crucible, you
Dang.
get a chance of getting an enhancement prism.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
That's
unlocked
awesome.
it.
You guys think
It was
it'll work in
awesome.
private matches?
Dude, I
Yeah,
hope
just
so,
sit there
dude.
and snipe each other.
We'll
over.
try it out, and we won't tell
Test it.
anybody if it works because
We'll
it'll get
report.
patched tomorrow.
But yes, the ghost stuff is amazing. I love how I can pick what I want. I can put glimmer crap on it. And then you can use the ghost you want too. Like sometimes I hated having like really bomb perks on a ghost I don't like. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I love the cowboy one. That's my go-to. And then I have my hunter one. That's my crucible one. And then I made some other ones for my other characters. And I have 2 of each. One for my PvE stuff and one for my crucible stuff. And that's all what matters. And I love that change a lot. That's probably my favorite change so far.
Guys, the
That I
Sparrow
love.
insta spawn
Yes.
Yeah.
all the time on my Scourge of the Past Sparrow. Are you kidding me? Greatest thing
Which
ever.
you can buy from the exotic thing if you didn't get it.
Yeah.
From the thing in the tower, you
Go
can
get it.
buy that sparrow.
I
I
swear.
don't know what it costs, but
You just go yoink it now.
you can go yoink it now.
you can yoink everything in there now,
Dude,
dude.
I swear though that they nerfed the whole things don't shoot at you when you're on that thing. Because I was coming
Yeah,
up to a
maybe.
mob, and before I even got up to him, freaking all the little dregs tracking bullets were just lighting me up, and I was like, "What the?" And I blew up. I didn't even make it to him. I was like, "Guys, you're not
That's why
supposed
my
to shoot at me."
Nimbus 3000 like just dodges everything.
The Nimbus 3000, you upped it.
I upped it.
You have the 3000 now. Dang,
I have 3000
he skipped the
Beyond light.
firebolt, ladies and
because it's
gentlemen.
3.0.0. That's why.
Dang, son. Yeah, there's a lot of really good quality of life changes. The game feels good. Outside of the hectic
it's fresh.
66.
It feels like a different game to me. I almost feel like I'm playing a completely different game.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
than
and,
it was a few days
and
ago.
we're going to get into storyline right
pandemonium.
now, but Europa is beautiful. And
Oh, okay. Let me say this: the Braytech, or not the Braytech, what the Exoscience place, the Bray Exoscience.
Yeah.
That
The
is
Clovis Bray-
the
Braytech?
coolest. That is the coolest space in all of Destiny. It is my favorite. I absolutely love that entire area.
I'm sorry, did you mean the Death Star? Did
The
nobody
freaking
else
Death Star.
Did nobody else get Death Star vibes? Dude, I literally
Dude,
thought I
it's
was playing a Star
insane.
Wars game.
I freaking love it. And like anytime you gotta go hunt somebody down in there, or like that area where that you fight that second boss and you have to kill the things on the ceiling, like just
Yeah.
that whole freaking space is beautiful.
Yeah.
I want
you
the
done
raid to
the-
be there.
Have you done the Lost Sector yet? You have to free a bunch of like frames and they fight with you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
way cool.
I
Like the
mean, the
friendly
frames were
heartbeat?
horrible. They're freaking stormtroopers, right? Like they don't hit anything, they don't kill anything, but like just this feeling of
Dude.
having like this army of
Yeah,
security
'Cause
frames.
you have to
following
you have to clear the room before you can move on. And at one point I
Yeah.
had killed everything. There's a bleep way behind me and I hear 3 guys just and I'm like waiting for it for a second and I'm like, why is the door not open? I look at they're all still firing auto rifles and I'm
They're
like,
the opposite.
what's going
of the
on, guys?
Marines- They're the opposite of the Marines in Halo, because the
Dude.
Marines in Halo could actually kill stuff, but then they could also get killed.
Yeah.
These stupid Braytech frames, literally, they couldn't kill a drag just standing in front of them, not in cover.
Yeah.
But they don't die, so that's cool.
Dude, they were just unloading on this. It was a single goblin. And he was just taking bullets, but it wasn't doing any damage. And I was just like,
Yo, how about the freaking chicken vexes though?
dude.
The
things
chicken
are
vexes are
beasts.
so hard.
the first time you run it. Okay, we should probably PR statement. We're getting into spoiler territory. We're going to start talking about the actual storyline. But the first time you run into one of those things, I was like, I literally just like, I'm gonna sword slap this mofo. I got a freaking falling guillotine. What's he gonna do about it? He one shot me before I even got close to him. I was like, you mother. And then the next time he does his little jump in the air slam on you, and I was like, I'm so sick of this stupid chicken right now.
Well, they like follow you too. They follow you into cover. Like they don't just back off like some other AI does. Like they'll just come find you.
Dude, I died like 4 or 5 times to that stupid thing before I got past it. Granted, I was like 40 or 50 light below, but I was pissed. I was like,
It's fun to fight
thing.
the Briggs too. I like how the Briggs kind of change up their attacks, like depending on how much damage you've done to them and stuff. They're cool. I like both of those enemy types. They're very cool.
The like mini Scourge of the Past bosses. Is that what they're called? Briggs?
Megatron?
Megatron's
Call them Megatrons. They're Briggs. I like Megatron though. That's cool.
Dude, no, Megatron was the mofo with that slam down that spider. You're just like, oh,
dude,
shoot. Dude.
That's the clip I have on Twitter. Go take a look at it.
I was like,
OTK'd him in 8 seconds.
Dude. Freaking Megatron just came out of nowhere, dude. Oh, it was...
That thing was fat, too. I think he was the size of Scourge of the Past boss.
Dude, he was huge, man.
Dude, 0 F's given. I freaking Levi Ackerman his
Oh, you sliced him up.
Dude. I sliced him up. 0 F's given. So, that was fun.
So I'll kick it off real quick with the storyline. I thought the storyline is, and it's not quite done once you finish it. So the spoilers, right? Once you're done, like, it's like I feel like you finish the storyline, you're like, wait, where was the Drifter and Eris this whole time? It's like you're only dealing with Varix and that freaking...
I kind of thought that too.
Yeah. So you're just hanging out with Varix and the freaking babe of an Exo, the Stranger, who is my new favorite character in the game.
Who's, again, spoiler territory, but related to Anna Bay, so that checks out.
Yeah. Anna Bay's adopted.
She's not adopted.
But then, like... Wait, who's adopted then? Was the Stranger adopted?
No.
Oh.
Spoiler territory, bitch.
Oh, you're messed.
Technically, she's adopted, okay? So they're stepsisters. Does that make it any less hot?
No, she's not adopted. She's not a stepsister.
Adopted. She's not
Then
adopted.
They
related.
told her that... So, okay.
Oh,
So
shoot. All right,
Anna
story
Bray,
time.
when she was little, she started exhibiting personality traits and things that were like her grandfather, Clovis Bray the First, who
The freak
is-
dude. Like,
who's
crazy.
a maniac genius, but like completely evil, crazy. And so they essentially,
He's Orochimaru of the Destiny universe.
so they essentially are telling Anna that she's adopted, she's not actually part of their family, to try and turn her on a different path, essentially, so she doesn't follow the path of Grandpa Clovis Bray the First.
Got it.
So, yeah,
Well, but then, like... so the Stranger's name's Elizabeth?
Elizabeth or Elsie. Yep.
She was turned into an Exo as, like, one of these experiments, basically, like...
Because that's right, what he wants, right? To become an Exo himself.
Mm-hmm.
Clovis Bray the First, a perfect Exo, become immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
not
then
like
at
those
the
Exos
end,
that get their ghost shot and then they die, right? Not those Exos.
Yeah, my character's a freaking Exo. Why can't I like travel through time and grab like?
Seriously.
That'd be dope.
What I was gonna say though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gamer.
oh no, I was just gonna say, and then at the end of the darkness where you fight Elsa, dude, that was tight. Where she came and she was like, "Let
Elsa,
it go."
is
at
that what
you,
we're
dude.
calling her?
No, I was just throwing it out
We
there.
can call
Dude,
her
and then you
Elsa.
freeze her
I like
back.
I like that. I thought the campaign though, like obviously I get the feeling that it's not done because it's like where's Drifter and Eris been? I think there's probably more to come.
Mm-hmm.
Intensely interesting.
Yes.
I feel like there's.
This
Oh, sorry, Breaker. I thought you were.
very, very interesting in the sense of like I felt like sucked into like I almost got like I jumped in. I was like, okay, cool. We'll like figure this out. We'll go get the stasis super or whatever, and then I'm out. I'm gonna jump into Crucible. But I wanted to sit there and like do the next mission and just figure out the next step. The Ghost was like I've never been like overly impressed with the Ghost as a character because he's a character in the game, but just his whole like internal struggle of like I like came from the Traveler, like I am part of the light, like the light is freeing and it's protecting and it gives me power. But his whole freaking world got flipped on its head. And I just like it was intensely interesting watching just him as a character grow and expand and like help you out basically. I've never cared about the Ghost ever in all of Destiny. It's just he's just kind of been there. and I was
a little
actually
bitter.
genuinely interested in him, as a character, and that to me was like, that was enough of it was just great storytelling. I loved how it wasn't just you go get the stasis subclass and then you come back and play the mission and save the day. It's like built in as you're fighting all of these bosses, you get to use it. And then after 2 or 3 times, it feels a little bit more familiar and you feel like you know what you're doing now. So then by the time you get handed it, it's like, okay, I know what this is about. Like I'm ready to go use this in Crucible or use it in the wild or whatever it is. They topped Forsaken in my mind. I think this is a better PvE experience than Forsaken for sure.
I really did like the way that you obtain stasis as a story. Like thematically, as Guardians, our power comes from the light, we've always been told, and so the darkness is always that opposing side. And so the concept that we're obtaining these powers just goes against our natural being, essentially. And so the way that they like, you get handed this artifact, right? And when you would attune this shard with certain like pieces of the pyramid ship, you would be able to use the stasis ability, but it would fade, right? It would say stasis empowered, you'd wreck a bunch of enemies, and then it would go away. And so you're basically utilizing it as a tool as you're going through this campaign. Well, it gets to the point where Aramis, in that final battle, takes the item from you, freezes your ghost.
She just crumbles it, dude. She just freaking broke the crystal.
She takes it, ruins it, and she's like, this is my power, not yours, screw you. She freezes your ghost, who falls on the ground. It's feeling like a Cade moment, like, we're gonna freaking die. And because we've been attuned to it and we're familiar with it, we are able to just control the power and just not basically rely on that crystal that she took from us.
Well, it comes from inside.
Yeah, and so at that point you finish the fight with her, and your ghost just like breaks out of the ice once you take back control of the stasis power. He's all flying around you, and you're just like, let's go, Biznatch, and then you wreck her face. So I like that. I like that it was progressive. I like that it wasn't just, here's new power, go out. And the entire time, the ghost is like, what the heck are you doing? Hey, I don't know about this, dude. Like, we're beings of light. You're messing with some sketchy stuff. This, like, I don't feel good about this. And you finally get to the point where you control it, and he's like, all right, I trust you. But it does add an element of, like, unease that it occurred to me, because I did a strike at one point. One of the mission or the quests required you to do like 3 strikes using stasis. I'm like, dude, it feels like you just gave all the Jedi in Star Wars dark side powers, is what it, like, we're all just running around just force shocking and choking everything, because it does seem super busted, and like you're just freezing all the enemies, chucking whirlwinds, and it was nuts just running through this strike with 2 other guys, all of us using stasis, and it's all just evil, dark, nuts powers, and it felt great. But the storyline was sick. I love the way it played out. I love the characters they brought into it. I thought it was really good. Really good storytelling. Part,
after you beat Aramis, you have to go back and talk to Zavala, and he's just like, yeah, so I know we fought like darkness with darkness or whatever, but like we're not gonna use that power anymore. You're just like, right.
I'm on my way to a Crucible match right now.
Yeah.
And then also, what are you doing in the stranger's house? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Just in her tent.
Where the heck did you come from, dude?
Freaking weirdo.
Yeah. He shows up there and he's like, what are you doing? You're like, nothing. I don't have a shard of the pyramid. You do. Shut up. Go away.
Yeah, Woken. Yeah, that was a good part where he was like, I get why we did this. And you're like, so you get why I'm going to keep doing it then too? Not handing
like,
this
nope,
back.
Don't use darkness anymore. You're like,
oh, well, because like in the beginning when the ghost was like, no, don't do it. I was like, well, yeah, of course the ghost is going to be like, let's not do this. But the more it went on, it was cool just seeing how much of a struggle it was for him. Because I'm just full speed ahead. I'm like, I'm going for that ziggurat. I'm going to go touch it. And the ghost is like, wait a minute. I think the Varix thing was interesting too, because it's like all of the bad things that have happened in Destiny has been because of Varix. Like, dude, all of it is all his fault.
Dude, I didn't even know that. Legit,
but they mention it though. Like
Yeah.
when you hear Varric's on the comms, the ghost is like, "This dude has a lot to answer for."
Oh, this mofo right here.
And now he wants some help.
And I was just kind of like, oh, like, you know, because he's just been AFK for the past couple years. You know, we're just like, yeah, what have you been up to? Where'd you go? I didn't realize he like started the breakout from Forsaken. That blew my mind because everyone I know, when we saw that trailer, everyone's like, yeah, Varix, woo, he's back. Because he was a chill guy. You used to get quests and stuff from him at the freaking whatever it was called in D1. The
Prison of Elders.
Yeah, he was in the Prison of Elders. You'll play Prison of Elders. He's talking to you the whole time, and I was like, oh crap, he let everybody out when Cade got killed.
Yeah.
That was his fault. So everything that happened in Forsaken and everything that's happened this expansion, 100% his fault. He let
It's all
Aramis
on
out. He let the Barons out.
In other words, it wasn't Aldrin's fault that killed Cade. It was
So we should
actually
all
Varrix's.
welcome Crow back with O'Malley's.
And
Okay.
he will be.
So that's what I mean. Like, it's not done yet, right? Like, the campaign's not done because there's
Yeah.
still, like, we haven't even seen Aldrin.
At least we haven't.
That's the season. That's the seasonal storyline, right?
Yeah.
Season of the Hunt. Whereas this is all the stuff with Aramis. This is the Beyond Light
Campaign.
storyline.
Well, way
Yeah.
to just know all this stuff, Tom.
Yeah, so if you think back to Shadowkeep, it was the whole Eris on the moon and the pyramid ship thing. But the season was about Season of, or not Arrivals, whatever that was
Undying.
called, Undying, where
Yeah.
it was the Vex coming through the portals at the different locations, and you got Optative and all those leafy covered weapons that
No, I didn't
not-
get
Have
that.
none of them.
were not the best. Those
The
were
only
not
one I
the-
kept was the Optative, or whatever the crap you call it,
Optative-
because I had some
Optative.
really nasty rolls on that. Other than that,
Optative.
everything
But
sucked.
they were all green.
And they were gross looking. No shaders will
covered.
take it. Like it
So-
was
Just
like what Tarzan used to wipe his ass, dude. Like it was just disgusting weapons.
Or
man.
just like his clothes. It was just Tarzan's clothes.
this is loincloth.
He was just on it.
Yeah, maybe not Bungie's best work as far as visuals. It was up there with all the ones from Crown of Sorrows. Let's just say that they were fighting
Not
for
as
worst.
ugly. Yeah.
Um,
This season's not
visually.
bad. They just have a bunch of stickers on them. Like there's like yellow stickers and stuff on them that don't change colors.
like I mean, oh, you're talking about weapons? and stuff?
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Oh, okay, never mind.
But I mean, there's still so much more to do. I don't think any of us
lot.
have
yeah.
fleshed out our first character yet. So
Yeah, and it'll be exciting to see what some of the new stasis, aspects and stuff are. How that's going to let us
Yeah.
continue to kind of customize the experience, or make
I
it
am
more
excited about
broken,
that.
or whatever.
or break it more. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it to calm down. Like that's what I want.
Honestly, I think like once the hype around stasis kind of dies down after it's been out for a little while, I bet we'll see a lot of people still use it, but I think we'll see more people start to go back to some of the things that they're used to and comfortable with. Like I kind of want to go back to Night Stalker. I like being able to go invisible and have my smoke grenade and stuff. Like
Yeah, I'm hoping stasis, what it does is it helps maybe slow down how ape-like people tend to be in the Crucible. Because right now I feel like a lot of times that people are getting frozen, it's because they're sticking to their typical way of playing, and they're just getting caught in grenades and things where maybe it'll cause people just to be a little bit more cautious and not just running around with your special out the entire time. Like if you see someone on your radar, maybe be a bit more cautious peeking that corner, or not just sliding out, just being as aggressive as everybody typically is in the Crucible. And
See, that was the other cool thing about playing the way that we were given stasis, though. When you fight that very first boss and she does the thing where like the thing travels and it comes after you, as a hunter at least, you learn like, oh crap, when I see that, I need to dodge yesterday to get out of the way of that, because if I get frozen, I'm flat out dead. And so I felt jumping into Crucible, anytime I saw some stupid Titan come flying around the corner that has an ability like that, it's like, I need to roll
dude, you
and get out of the way.
You hear any stasis crackle in your earphone,
dude,
and
it
you
sounds
run
so
in the
cool.
other direction.
That too, but we need to at least just mention how awesome all of the abilities and everything sound. Like
They do.
Beyond Light sounds amazing.
It doesn't sound like ice. It's
the breast pump.
Sounds like
yeah.
cosmic.
It's like it's like crystally, like it's cool. It's very cool. It's not your
But
typical
yeah, so,
frozen sounds from a
like-
video game.
I just feel like I maybe just didn't get as frozen as you guys. I don't know, you played on your Titan at least a little bit today, gamer. Just because I was kind of in that habit of like, I hear stasis crap happening and I need to roll and run. I need to hunter out of there. Not sure if I'm going to be as effective at evading all that on my warlock, but even that was cool. Like the PvE got you ready for the PvP in the sense of like, you see these crystals, you move. So
Yeah.
it was cool. Well, boys,
Want to go play some PvP?
let's do it.
Let's do this.
Let's go click on each other's heads for a little bit.
100% down.
Touch your privates.
That's the
think
way
that's how we
Gamer
say it.
says play private matches for anybody that's listening and is confused.
I think we typically just say, let's go do some privates.
We just,
Not
yeah,
let's
we never
touch.
say touch our privates, actually.
I said, let's go touch the privates.
You didn't say that.
He touched the butt. This is being recorded, by the
Freaking
way.
A.
We will fact check you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming and listening. And thank you as well if you found us on Spotify. Thanks for listening to our podcast as well. You can find us all the socials at Tower Talk Show. And usually we are same place, different time. Usually we're Tuesdays at 9. That's where we will be next week. You can find us streaming live on Facebook and on Twitch Tuesday at 9 at Tower Talk Show. Taka, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at TheTaka.
Tweeting out some dank, crispy snipes. Former, where are you at?
You can also talk to me on Twitter at Former Guardian.
And Gamer?
You can catch me streaming Beyond Light at Twitch.
There we go.
5 days a week. Watch me getting ready for raid. I am teaming up with Devil. He's been on the show before. We are going to go try to tackle that day one raid.
Get
And
that
we will be
bill.
cheering for you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be rooting for you every step of the way. And you can find me on Twitter at TheRealBeard. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next week.
Later.
Let's go freeze some people.